Hi again everyone, Prophecy Prepper here. It's been a few months at least since I did my last video, which was on the Isle of Arran, and I just want to give you a channel update on what's to come. Apologies first of all is the fact that I do have a viral infection. I'm just back from the doctor, so my throat's a little bit off. I'm doing a lot of coughing, and as you can tell my voice is quite rough, so I'll try and keep as much coughing out of the video as I can. Now, as the channel suggests, Prophecy Prepper. The only thing I've really noticed at how my channel's evolved the last couple of years is wild camping, hammock camping, and doing kit reviews on all my products, as well as doing a long distance walk up the West Highland Way, and I do plan to do more of each of these things. Now, the channel itself has evolved into the point where I've been gathering in a good community which keeps growing through my own subscriptions to them and others joining on my channel as well and subscribing. It's going great, but one thing I've noticed my channel has in common with all my subscribers is all to do with the great outdoors, bushcraft, wild camping, etc. And that's great, and my channel is going to continue with that. But when I set up my channel, Prophecy Prepper, as the name suggests, it's more than just doing these things as a recreational hobby. It's more than just doing these things to broadcast myself. I had the purpose and intent of this channel from day one to be about why I am prepping. Now, as time has went on in these last couple of years, I haven't really prepped in the terms of supplies and stocking, like I see watching these programs of Doomsday Bunkers and other TV programs where people really are spending thousands of pounds on stocks. I can't do that just now in my current situation, but the prophecy part of things is where I want the channel to head over the next few videos at least. Now, I know a lot of people in this day and age in the world, they might not have a belief in God, they might not have faith, they might not even think of it consciously because they're getting on with their day-to-day lives in this modern day. That's fine. I don't plan on saying I'm a Bible basher, I'm not a preacher, I'm not saying I have a code and telling you when Jesus is returning or when the world is going to end. It's nothing like that whatsoever. What it is something that I've personally been involved in researching and naturally been attracted to knowing more about most of my life. Now, something I haven't said in any of my videos before, nor do I say in my place of work or anywhere else where I don't know people too well, is the fact that I studied 3.5 years in Rome at a seminary studying to be a priest. The years leading up to me choosing to make such a decision and going to study for priesthood came at a time where personally I get more deeper involved in my faith, and a lot of that had to do with Marian apparitions. The Marian apparitions primarily that I want to discuss are speaking of probably the main event which has been sanctioned by the church is Fatima, but I'm currently working on a presentation where I want to bring all of these things which have been said and have a look at it in our current world. So when I hear things of China and Russia are uniting more militarily, economically, several years ago I'm reading things exactly saying that's what's going to happen. Also, Jesus says in the Diary of Divine Mercy, which was given to St. Faustina in the 1930s, there'll be a special time of grace where mankind can return to my mercy. Right now we are living in that year of mercy, which has been declared by the Church by Pope Francis as the year of mercy. And right now Pope Francis is currently in Poland with a couple of million young people at World Youth Day. The biggest theme about it all is Divine Mercy, because this is where it all stemmed from, in Krakow, Poland. It's been promoted more than ever, and coincidentally this comes a year before the 100th anniversary of Fatima. Now, what's the thing about Fatima? Fatima basically, 1917, Our Lady appears to 3 children, the oldest being 10, warned them all about how Russia was going to spread its errors throughout the world, a vision of how the Pope was going to be shot, and the fact that in the end, if mankind still don't change their ways, there'll be even worse war. Russia would be the scourge of the nations. Now, from 1917 till now, everything that was predicted, which I will get into in its own special video, has came true. Forward through different places such as Garabandal, Akita, Japan, which are coming as well to put all the jigsaw pieces together. She's now appearing in a place called Medjugorje, Bosnia-Herzegovina. I've been there a few times myself, and one of the things she says in the early days of those apparitions, "I'll finish here what I began in Fatima." Wow. We're speaking about the Immaculate Heart, the triumph of the Immaculate Heart. And no, by no guess right now, there's a documentary and a book coming out titled The Triumph, written by one of the visionaries, and the documentary itself is taken in with them all. I don't really know much about it just now. But that's just a recap. I know it sounds a bit babble, I know it's going on a bit, and it's hard to do just with speaking in a camera. But when you're taking in the 100th anniversary, which is next year, when you're taking in the fact that everything predicted from communism to the Second World War to the Pope being shot, everything that has came true to make Fatima the pillar or the mainframe of these main apparitions, and in the time that we are living in, I cannot settle. I feel forced now to start doing these videos as I once planned to do just a couple of years ago. I've heard fellow preppers on their own YouTube channels, as well as watching other documentaries. They are prepping for great events which will bring society into a time of desperation. We've seen with the riots in the UK a few years back how quickly people can get into rioting and looting. We have seen wars over our times. Now we're seeing the mass immigration coming into Europe. The intensifying threat of terrorism in Europe is constantly increasing. This week alone, I recall 3 separate incidents of what's happening. The latest being the poor Catholic priest in France who was murdered by ISIS terrorists. But if I had to tell you that through watching these videos, I'm having the knowledge that all these things are starting to happen as predicted. I'm not talking about specific people, I'm speaking about specific nations, specific events economically or to do with our warfare that are starting to come together to the point where the jigsaw pieces are starting to reveal the image, the picture. And it's no coincidence to me that this is happening now. So I do believe that is why I'm prepping. I'm not just prepping for World War III, I'm not just prepping for chaos and anarchy, looting, riots, or even a solar flare that happen that will knock out the electric grid. I'm not thinking about the next recession or global depression. I'm thinking about everything happening at once when this all hits the fan. That's what's going to happen. And even though people who are prepping will say it's because of this one or because of that one, you're only a fraction, in my opinion, you're on the right path, but it's a fraction because you're unaware of putting these things together, as I've mentioned, what's happening in the world right now, to realise that what we have been warned about, what we have been told about for the past century is actually coming to its fulfilment. I'm reading hundreds of books, I'm reading lots of articles to keep up to date with what's going on. And so what's going to be happening in these coming months, hopefully, if I get the time to do it, is to try and deliver what seems to be a professional, researched and revised presentation in order to educate my viewers of what is happening, why it is happening, and see, even if you're an atheist. Now there's tens of thousands of different Christian denominations. There are other many religions in the world. There are many who say they are atheists, they do not believe in God. I just want to make this not about me, not about my own personal belief, Not about anything of the sort where I'm pushing my agenda. All I invite you as a viewer to do is to be the detective, like me. Be an atheist, be a Muslim, be a Christian, Hindu, whatever. Be a detective. Because detectives follow the clues, follow the evidence, and see if we can come to an understanding and an agreement that we might have something here that's starting to make more sense than ever.